First reading. A reading from the prophet Ezekiel, chapter 47, verses 1 to 9 and 12. He brought me back to the entrance of the temple, where a stream flowed eastwards from under the temple, that's whole. For the temple faced east, the water flowed from under the right side of the temple, south of the altar. He took me out by the north gate and led me right round outside, as far as the outer east gate, where the water flowed out on the right hand side. The man went off to the east, holding his measuring line, and measured off 1,000 cubits. He then made me wade across the stream. The water reached my ankles. He measured off another 1,000 and made me wade across the stream again. The water reached my knees. He measured off another 1,000 and made me wade across the stream again. The water reached my waist. He measured off another 1,000. It was now a river which I could not cross. The stream had swollen and was now deep water, a river impossible to cross. He then said, "Do not see, Son of Man." He then took me and brought me back to the bank on the river. Now, when I reached it, I saw an enormous number of trees on each bank of the river. He said, "This water flows east down to the Arab and to the sea, and flowing into the sea, it makes its water wholesome. Wherever the river flows, all living creatures teeming it in will live. Fish will be very plentiful, for wherever the water goes, it brings health, and life teems wherever the river flows. Along the river, on either bank, will grow every kind of fruit tree with leaves that never wither and fruit that never fails. They will bear new fruit every month, because this water comes from the sanctuary, and their fruit will be good to eat, and the leaves medicinal." This is the word of Lord. Thanks be to God. A reading from the Gospel according to John, chapter 5, verses 1 to 3 and 5 to 16. After this, there was a Jewish festival, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. Now, in Jerusalem, next to the sheep pool, there is a pool called Bethesda in Hebrew, which has 5 porticos. And under these were crowds of sick people, blind, lame, paralyzed. One man there had an illness which had lasted 38 years. And when Jesus saw him lying there and knew he had been in that condition for a long time, he said, "Do you want to be well again?" "Sir," replied the sick man, "I have no one to put me into the pool when the water is disturbed, and while I am still on the way, someone else gets down there before me." Jesus said, "Get up, pick up your sleeping mat, and walk around." The man was cured at once, and he picked up his mat and started to walk around. Now that day happened to be the Sabbath. So the Jews said to the man who had been cured, "It is the Sabbath. You are not allowed to carry your sleeping mat." He replied, "But the man who cured me told me, 'Pick up your sleeping mat and walk around.'" They asked, "Who is the man who said to you, 'Pick up your sleeping mat and walk around'?" The man had no idea who it was, since Jesus had disappeared as the place was crowded. After a while, Jesus met him in the temple and said, "Now you are well again. Do not sin anymore, or something worse may happen to you." The man went back and told the Jews that it was Jesus who had cured him. It was because he did things like this on the Sabbath that the Jews began to harass Jesus.